Okay. Kisadu, have you done Richard Corey in school or anywhere else? Have you learned Richard Corey before? Kisadu? Yes. Senator Richard Corey කියවලා තියෙනවද? No. Oshini? Richard Corey? Yeah. Bimasha? Richard Corey? No. Binara? Have you done this before? Oh God, just text on the private chat. Common chat will you? Okay, yes. Yes, comment again. I don't have to open one by one. Who else is there? It's fine, it's fine. Dohan, have you done Richard Corey?
Yes, miss.
Okay, right. So, okay, except few, everyone else, you all know about Richard Corey already. Okay. As you can see, it's just the name of a gentleman, and it's a very English name. This is actually an American poem. Richard Corey is an American poem, and we come across two major themes here. One is that appearance is deceptive, appearance versus reality. One is that. This is one thing, that appearance is deceptive. Deceive or ravattano. Appearance is deceptive. The other one, you can take money can't buy happiness. Let's see why. Let's start with the poem. Oshini, can you read the first stanza?
Whenever Richard Corey went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from sole to crown, clean-favored and imperially sleek.
Okay. Whenever Richard Corey went downtown, so this shows that it's kind of a habitual action. He might have gone several times. Whenever Richard Corey went downtown, so downtown people refer to, I mean, they're not a rich community, they're referring to the poor people. We people on the pavement. So, you don't find people who, I mean, you don't find millionaires or billionaires sitting on the pavement, right? So, obviously, they are poor people, like probably from like a kind of like a shanty area. So, we people on the pavement looked at him. Are they look? What do you mean by just looking? They are looking at him in the sense, okay, there's a rich man who's wearing like very different attire, but he's clean favored, and his imperialist image is very slim. But this slim is in health. This slim refers to the rich slim. Okay, now okay, what you might argue is thinking, okay, slim means kanna natuwa kettui, and then fatty is kala vadi velam hata. No, that's not what they mean. So those days, when you say a king or like when you say someone who is like rich and all that, they maintain their figure and all of that. So in that way only they are saying imperialism. So he looks elegant. In a manly way, we call it gentleman. He looks like a gentleman. Right? Onita no man. Okay. Yeah, you don't have the tute. Yeah, you can collect it once you come here. I have the printed, I got the new printouts on it. You can collect it once you come. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah. For now, just use your textbook for the time being, and once you get the tute, once you come here, I'll give you the tute. No problem. Okay. Then, right. So now underline or highlight the word we. This is once again a common context question. They can ask you who are referred to as we. If they ask you that, you can answer saying we refers to the speaker as well as the downtown people, including the speaker. So the speaker is also a part of the downtown community or the poor community. So the speaker himself is admiring Richard Corey's appearance. Did you notice the spellings of the word favored here? U is missing. Why? Because it's a poem written in American English, not in British English. If it was written in British English, then it would not. It would definitely have a U when you say favored. Then, Kisadu, read the next stanza, please.
And he was always quietly arrayed, and was always human when he talked. But still he flattered verses when he said good morning, and he glittered when he walked.
Okay. He was always, he was always. What is the technique? Now you know. And he was always, and he was always. Tell me, what is the technique? Repetition. It's repetition. And what does repetition do? What is the effect of repetition? There are two effects. I've told all. What are the two effects of repetition? I've told this countless times. Why do we use repetition in poetry or whatever literary text? Maintain the rhythm. Rhythm liyan homa nimi. Rhythm to maintain the and what? To emphasize the meaning. We use repetition to emphasize the meaning and to maintain rhythm. So when you say he was always quietly arrayed and he was always human when he talked, they are trying to emphasize Hamatism, Hamatism. How good looking he was. He was a gentleman. He speaks nicely. He was not a bossy man. He's a humble man. If he was bossy, he would say he was bossy. He was a gentleman. Right? Then, but he fluttered in pulses. This means he was nervous when he said good morning and glittered when he walked. Glittered when he walked, what does that mean? A birthday on the tree. Tell me. Glittered when he walked, fluttered in passes when he said good morning, and glittered when he walked. When you say fluttered in passes when he said good morning, is this means that he was nervous, but he was sick. He says good morning. He was not a man who was like, or a posh in the or I'm not gonna talk to anybody. He was not like that. He was a humble man, he was a gentleman. And he wasn't just a gentleman, he was talking to people very nicely. This shows that he was humble. See, he says good morning to the people at the downtown. And glittered when he walked? What do you mean by glittered when he walked? His outfit was glittery in the sense he had a very nice outfit, shining outfit. Anduma, right? Okay. And he was rich, just richer than a king. What is this technique, Lamai? He was rich, richer than a king. What is the technique? No problem. Metaphor. Good. Not really metaphor. That's not the technique I wanted. No. What is metaphorical there? Okay, when you say king, okay, slightly, but that's not the accurate technique that I want. That's not the technique I'm looking for. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Remember in the poem Eagle, if you have done it with me, we had this line which says, like a thunderbolt, he falls. What was that technique?
Simile.
Simile, okay. Then in the same poem, there was a line which says, closer to sun in lonely lands. What is that technique? Closer to the sun in lonely lands. Close to the sun in lonely lands. What is that technique?
Personification.
Okay, he is person. Yeah, there's another technique. That's not wrong, but that's not what I'm looking for. Amma ekek ma tiyan මේකම තියන්න ඔයකොල්ලට එකකම තියන්න. Hyperbole, no. Not hyperbole. Yeah, it is hyperbole. It's actually hyperbole. Correct. When you say close to sun in loneliness, can anyone be close to sun? No. So then that's an extended exaggeration going into a level of impossibility. Those kind of exaggerations which goes beyond the level of possibility, those we call them a hyperbole or hyperbole. So right now, the line that we have, he was rich, richer than a king, that is actually an exaggeration. තියෙන එක ලොකු කලකින යා මේ රජෙක්ටත් වඩා පෝසත්, richer than a king. But is it impossible? It's possible in a way. I mean, back in the day, the richest person was a king, true. But maybe he conquered the land. Somehow there's a possibility of him doing that if he really wants to. So those kind of things we call the exaggeration. Right? So this technique is exaggeration. He was rich, richer than a king. And admirably schooled in every grace. So he was kind of like, he was skilled, he was educated. In fine, we thought he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. Okay. Before I get on to that, let's just look at this first. Here, okay, wait. Not just that. These two stanzas together. What happens in these two stanzas? Up to here. Wait, sorry. From the first line. Okay, wait. Let me annotate that part again. What is the impact created through these lines? From here to here. We can see how Richard Cory is judged through his outward appearance. Outward appearance. They say he's rich. We admire him. He's a gentleman. He's a humble man and all of that. And then moving on from there, then we get a new point. A separate point. Mame point to make it easier for you all when you write essays, okay? So that is one point. How Richard Cory was judged through his external appearance. Next part is this. In fine, we thought he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place, okay? What do? They are not satisfied with what they have. They compare themselves to Richard Cory. People start comparing. They compare their lives to Richard Cory's. They're like, okay, just because he's happy, he has money, doesn't mean he's happy. They assume that he is happy because he has money. The people in the downtown, they're poor. They're from the poor community. So they are thinking, so if he has money, he should be happy. They compare their lives to Richard Cory's. A comparison is drawn to make us wish that we were in his place. See, Lamai, a good insight, if you can see, is that when they're talking about Richard Cory, he's always identified as a single person. To make us wish, we are a community, that we were in his place. He is one person. But they had each other. They were poor, but they were always represented as a community. They were not alone. But Richard Cory was seen as a solo man. How do we know his real lifestyle? By just how he walks about here and there with the outfit that he's wearing and how he talks. People know nothing about his real personal life. Nothing about his personal life is given. We don't know whether he's married, whether he's single, divorced, whether children are there or not. We don't know whether he's suffering from depression. We don't know anything. Maybe his business is crashing, whatever the wealth generating way that he has. We don't know about that. Just to how he appears to be, how he presents himself to the world assumes that he is happy. This also shows how people are not content with what they have. Not content with what they have. So we worked and waited for the light. What does light symbolize? A better day. Hope for a better day. Light symbolizes hope for a better day. Hope for a better day or better life, whatever. They're hoping to make their lives better. Worked and waited for the light. They're hopeful, optimistic. And we went without meat and cursed the bread. I think this was in the French Revolution. My history knowledge, I cannot remember history now, but I remember there was this woman who said she was from the elite class. So she says when people started complaining that they do not have bread, she said, okay, if you don't have bread, eat cake, which was absurd because bread. How does the word breadwinner come into being? The word breadwinner, bread is it was called the poor man's meal. It was the cheapest or the most accessible or the most affordable meal the poor people had. Not, we're not referring to the Sri Lankan context, but I mean in America and other European countries, that was how it worked, right? So but they're cursing the bread they have because they're and going without the meat. Meat symbolizes luxury. Meat is a luxurious food item for them. They're poor people, they cannot afford meat. What they can afford is bread. But they're cursing what they have, not content with what they have, rather than satisfied. So that's the second point. Third one, the final two lines says it all. It gives a total contradiction. And Richard Cory, one calm summer night. It's a calm summer night. How ironic is that? Calm and summer. Summer, fierce, adventurous, high-spirited, all, it's kind of like the happy period. And it was a calm summer night. And what happens in a calm summer night? Went home and put a bullet through his head. Put a bullet through his head. He basically shot himself. He committed suicide. සතුටෙන් ඉන්න මිනිස්සෙක් suicide කරගන්නේ නැහැ ආසාවට. So it makes it pretty obvious. This man had something that he was going through which he did not show the world. In fact, appearance is deceptive. It has been proven through the final two lines of the poem. Throughout, okay, what are the 3 points then? People compared him, first people looked at his outward appearance, they judged him. With the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he wore, they assumed he was happy because he was wealthy. Number one. Number two, they didn't just assume he was happy, they also started comparing their lives to his and said, okay, we wish that we were in his place. We want to live like him without knowing what he was really going through. And finally, the judgments are being proven wrong, in fact showing that money is actually deceptive. That money is in fact deceiving. Sorry, not money, appearance. Appearance is in fact deceiving. Never judge a book by its cover. I'm gonna get there, Binara. I'm gonna get there. Hold on. I'm giving you the literal wordings and then we are gonna get there. Finally, it is proven that appearance is deceptive. Okay. Now, I'll get that line here too. Okay. When you write answers for this or any other poem or any other text, top scorers, students who score 13 out of 15 or 12 out of 15, often tend to write their own creative thoughts. Your creative inclusions is what makes your score to go from a general C or a B to an A. That means you have to add your own insights. You can add quotes. Then in your body paragraphs, you mention quotes from the poem. You extra poem or whatever the extract, you quote lines from that. You take quotations from that. But in your introduction and in your conclusion, you can add general quotes, general proverbs, which are relevant to this. Example, you can say what Binara said. Never judge a book by its cover. පිට කවරෙන් පොතක් වරින්න බෑ. Never judge a book by its cover. Another one, this is from Dharman. Okay, I call it out of Dharman. I have to give credits. The grass is not always greener on the other side. This is also another quote. Grass is not always green on the other side. Another one, this was something a 2024 batch student. His name is Yomita. Yeah, tama me idea ka dunne, okay? This is brilliant. What he said was, you can buy food, not appetite. You can buy a bed, but not good sleep. And the kochara comfortable or not, if you have problems in your head, can you have comfortable sleep? No. That was really, really, really insightful. You can add your creative, insights as well. That's what helps you to get a better score. I remember when I was doing my O-levels, I went on to Google. I thought ChatGPT but I went on to Google. Google was there, although I'm from the Stone Age. I went and Googled up quotes relevant to that. What I did was I inserted the poem and the themes of the poem and asked to give quotes. I had like a proverb book. Then proverb book. And there was another one with both Sinhala and English. I had 2 proverb books. So I went through those books page by page and I quoted down those proverbs and studied few which were relevant to my target areas. And I mentioned them in my introductions. That is a very, very good thing if you can do as well. Is the poem clear? Any questions? Mage audio එක අඩුයි හරි මොකක් හරි නම් කියන්න මොකද පොඩ්ඩක් එළිය වහිනවා but I don't think that's going to affect because I'm wearing the direct microphone. I mean with the headset, but if there's anything wrong with my audio or something, just let me know, okay? Any questions, Dama? Is the poem clear? Any doubts? තේරුම් නැති මොන හරි තියෙනවා නම් please ask me. Senora, is it clear? 100%? ඊළඟට thumbs up දාලා. Okay. Vimasha? Is it clear? Yes. Onita, is it clear? Any questions? Onita? Clear. Okay. Dohan, clear? Or any questions? Do you have any questions?
Names.
No. Oshini, any questions? Is it clear? No. Okay. Kisadu, all good? Yeah. Great. Okay. If you have anything to write down, please do. And I'm going to scroll to the question side. Very good. These are the context questions. I have given 5 context questions. As you can see, there has been only one context question from this poem, and that's in the 2022 paper. 2022 paper ke vitarai me poem again context එකක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. The rest are all model questions and questions from different papers. In terms of essays, okay, there have been none. Ekka essay එකක්වත් ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ from this poem. Once again, a good opportunity for you to grab marks. But I remember this poem being in some sort of a past paper. Model paper 2016. Okay. Right. I want you to create a draft for the for this question. Question number 5. Create a draft for it now and WhatsApp. I'm going to post the recording. I already told you the points. So it's very easy for you. Please do that now. Tell the points. It's okay, Binod. Okay. Right. Then I gave you all time to write and I also went through some of your, almost all. Now I'm going to give my points. But I'm going to give you what I already gave. The first one, I'll show you from the poem itself. When I was explaining the poem itself, I told you. So I'm going to get there. What is to say? Rich are happy is a myth. You have to prove it. So first I'm going to show how people assume that rich people are happy. It's an assumption. They assume or create assumptions that rich are happy through the outward appearance or how a person portrays him or herself, through the way they talk, through the way they walk, through the dress code and all of that, how they appear, through the appearance, right? Judgment, right? Judging through the outward appearance. This is my first point. For this as quotes, I can maybe use he was rich, richer than a king, or maybe I can say he was a gentleman from soul to crown. Or I can say we people in the pavement. I can, if I want, I can use any of the quotes from the Islamite, from here to here. No, sorry, my bad. From Mename section. This whole thing comes with point 1. You can take anything. Whatever that makes you feel like is punchier, you can take. මේක ගන්න පුළුවන්, මේක ගන්න පුළුවන්, these two lines, because there are money කැල්ල කියවන හින්දා, if you want you can take these two lines, you can take any of this, because this depicts that. Is the first point clear to you? That the people assume, the downtown people, or we in general, we assume, we make assumptions, or we judge people through their outward appearance, through the way they talk, through the way they present themselves, through the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they speak, and everything. That's one point. And then the second point is the comparison. We don't just assume stuff. We don't just judge. We also compare ours to theirs. We believe that, okay, so the downtown people, they believe the rich are happy, and by comparing their lives to the richest, they compare their lives. They're not content. They're not content with what they have. They create assumptions. Now, so first they assume that the rich are happy through the outward appearance, and they are assuming that they are happier or having a better life just because they are wealthy. That's once again a wrong assumption. One good point that you can highlight is throughout the poem, the downtown community are represented as we or us, while Richard Cory is either identified as Richard Cory by the name itself or as he. So he is shown as an individual. While the we or the us, the downtown people, were represented always as a community. Although they're poor, they had each other. Something that money cannot replace. People, companions. And then finally, as my last point, I'm going to take the ironic ending. This is my last point. How I'm going to say how it is being proven wrong. See, irrespective of the physical judgments that they made, irrespective of the calm surrounding, it was a calm summer night, irrespective of all the external things, Richard Cory's mind was conflicting. He was going through something. A person doesn't commit suicide for fun. The unexpected ending proving all the assumptions wrong, irrespective of all the outward judgments and the calm environment, the external environment. Richard Cory commits suicide. Irrespective of whatever happens externally, didn't matter, because he was having conflicts in his mind internally. He was going through something. So that's my third point. Are my 3 points clear to you? If you have any arguments against it, please bring it up. I'm more than welcome. It's more than welcome. Please bring it up if you have any arguments against. If you have any other points that you can come up, because be creative. May make a standardly make a hari uttare kiya you can write anything. This is just my points. These are my points. You can come up with anything you want. Anything else that you can come up with? No? Okay. Take down whatever the notes you want to take down. And we are done with that. Big match, wait, we are done with, see, we are done with big match. We are done with Richard Corey. And did we do I Know Why the Cage Bird Sing by Maya Angelou?
No,
Did we do okay, Oshini says yes, Sadhu says no. What?
no, we didn't do any. So we only finished Once Upon a Time, Big Match, and now Richard Corey. We didn't do I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. That we did in the school, miss.
Okay. So then if I finish I Know Why the Cage Bird Sing, we are done with society as well, right?
Miss, but
think
you
we
like gave us a brief explanation about it before we went to the test.
That's what. But we didn't do it completely.
No, miss. If I did it, I
Okay.
have ticked it, miss. I haven't
Okay,
ticked
okay.
it yet.
Are you all tired? Do you all want to do it now? Or what? Is it long? It's not that long. A little bit. Okay. Let's vote. The ones, okay, you have the option of what do you call showing, thumbs up, thumbs down and stuff. So the ones who want to do I Know Why the Cage Bird Sing now, put a thumbs up. Others put some thumbs down, cross or something, some sort of a negative sign. Then winner no, okay. Winner Depalu. Others. Okay, I was muted, sorry. Dohan, do you want to do I Know Why the Cage Bird Sing? Let me post a recording. Okay, then tomorrow we are having a session at 10:30 p.m. which I will confirm. I have to check my schedule. I have to check my schedule, right? I will check that. I don't recall promising anyone 10:30 tomorrow. If I haven't, then I can. Right? Then tomorrow 10:30. How about 10? Senura, I'm finishing a class at 10. 10 ඉවර වෙච්ච ගමන්ම students don't go. And the thing is, they are ones who come in bikes and all. So sometimes if it's raining and all, I have to stay and I have to arrange the class and everything. So that's not possible to start at sharp 10. So yeah, I have to have at least half an hour in between to arrange everything. So 10:30 is the solid time. Okay. So 10:30 to 11:30, maximum 12 nang yanna kohomat. We can finish I Know Why the Cage Bird Sing, and then we are officially done with society poetry. After tomorrow, we are done with society, we are done with conflict. Nature wala Oshini, what do we have remaining? Do we have to the
We
night?
are done
Did we
with
do
nature.
everything?
We are done with nature, miss. Yes,
Completely?
all 4 poems done.
Oh, nice. So then
Yeah.
we have only human life.
Yes.
Okay, then we can't dance. We have to get into prose because we haven't touched lumber room at all. Yes.
Miss,
Yes.
we did the clown's wife in life.
Okay, and we start a fear.
We started fear only the first what we call
First
first
stanza.
paragraph.
First stanza. No para.
Yeah, stanza. That's it.
Okay, right.
Stanza.
Okay, then that's what we are going to do.
Stanza.
And the newcomers, high time you quickly find ways to complete what you've missed, okay? And yeah, I'm going to end the session there. Newcomers, you all didn't have the group sessions. You all didn't have it. Please discuss with each other and drop me text. We'll have one hour online sessions here and there, and catch them up. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for you to cover. Okay. Then I'm going to end the session here. Good night, everybody. You don't have any doubts, right? Before we go, anything at all? No. Okay. Then good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, me.
Bye. Wait, hold on. When is the next class? I'm going to end the session recording. When is the next class?